day 6. Just looking out the window currently and it is raining still. It is grey skies and it's raining. Although this hairstyle though, just what a masterpiece. Obviously I went to the supermarket yesterday, which means we have more stuff for baking, so I'm going to bake today. Normally we have some containers in the pantry that I pretty much always have filled with baking stuff, and they're empty at the moment, so I had best fix that. I'm going to make some Afghans. I want to make an apricot slice. I love apricot slice, and I might look at making some like crumpets or some English muffins. I played around with making both of those probably late last year, and I haven't revisited it, but I would like to kind of work on those a little bit more. So that's probably me for the day. I'm going to get changed now and get into some baking. We're in the kitchen. I am going to make some Afghans. That is the first thing on the list because I saw some lady make them the other day and I've just wanted to make them ever since. So we're going to make some Afghans first. We'll start with potentially one of the most well-used Edmonds cookbooks in New Zealand. And we'll, oh, look at the use. Pretty much need. There we go. Alright, we're going to start by chopping up 200 grams of butter. I'm going to chop this up into cubes and then biff it in the microwave for a little bit so that it can soften, so that I can then beat it. So I'll pop that into a bowl. And put that in the microwave on low to soften. So while the butter is melting, I'm going to weigh out 75 grams of just white sugar. $75. So that's the butter that's now been in the microwave. It's definitely looking a bit softer, as you can see, so we will now beat that until it's creamy. I like to cream the butter a bit on its own first, just to get it soft before I add the sugar, which I'll do now. And then just keep beating. So you can see now that it's gone really like light and fluffy looking, which is exactly what we want. Next up I'm going to weigh out our cocoa. It says to add 25 grams of cocoa, but I'm probably going to double that, if not more, because I want it really chocolatey. So I've gone with 45. So I'm going to dump that into here. I'm going to give it a mix first with the spoon, just so that everything doesn't fly up on me. Now I'm going to go ahead and weigh out our white powdery gold, otherwise known as flour. There was still no flour. Oh, I've got this on mils. When I went to the supermarket yesterday, there was still no flour. Alright, we can go ahead and dump that in. Afghans are a pretty like dry sort of biscuit, so there's not a lot of moisture. The only thing that we're getting moisture from here is the butter, which is why it's so important to make sure that it's creamed. So the next part is to add in some cornflakes. we need 50 grams of cornflakes. So we're going to biff the cornflakes in. And then try your very best to mix them through. Now that they're mixed through, we can shape them and put them in the oven. I'm just going to line my baking sheet with some baking paper, the stuff I brought you yesterday. So it's got this annoying thing on it. There we go. And now we can start to shape them. Again, because this is quite a dry dough, we don't have to worry too much about like our hands getting sticky or anything. Alright, we have all our biscuits ready so we can pop them into the oven. Done.
Before I start, I do want to acknowledge that I do not underestimate the difficulty of the challenge of being in Alert Level 4 for families, for those living on their own, for anyone in New Zealand right now.
Next on my list of things to bake is some cheese puffs, because I mentioned them to my mother and now she won't stop talking about them. So I'm going to make some cheese puffs. Alright, we are going to start with 1 egg. And half a cup of milk. And we're just going to whisk that together. To that I'm going to add some salt and pepper. I'm also going to add the tinsiest bit of smoked paprika. I'm going to add a cup of self-raising flour. The recipe I'm following called for normal flour and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm going to add the tiniest little bit of baking powder to this just as well. I'm going to do like a half a teaspoon probably. Yeah. Now the only other thing I need to do is add some grated cheese. So I'm going to grate some cheese. It says you need to add 2 cups of grated cheese, so I've kind of just guesstimated then. Let's have a look. This is a half cup. Yeah, I think if I just add the rest of that, I'm fine. Now I'm just going to mix all of this together very briefly. Basically, I just want to mix this until it all looks like it's come together. That'll do. This recipe just says that I should spray this down with some cooking spray. And then we can just add dollops. Now I'm going to biff these in the oven. They are so good. You should absolutely try and make these at home. They're super easy. I'll list the ingredients here if I can work out how to do that. 1 egg, half a cup of milk. You mix that together. Then you add 1 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, some salt and pepper, 2 cups of cheese, some paprika. Put them in the oven for 10 minutes and enjoy this. Absolute deliciousness.
It's fair to say that the were arrangement was driven by the desire to strike a balance between the need for people to access supermarkets at this unprecedented time. In the end, the important issue for us was
Not many kiddies would let you do this, hey?
To the supermarket if there were 2 days of closure, which would defeat the work everyone is doing to try and reduce people's contact with one another.
Alright, so I've cooked the Afghans. I still need to ice them, and I've made some cheese puffs. And last on my list of stuff that I wanted to do today is some apricot slice. So I'm going to start with 125 grams of butter. That's pretty close, so I'm just going to use that. And we're going to chuck that into a pot. Like so. Into that pot we're going to add a half cup of brown sugar. And we're also going to add a can of condensed milk. Now we're just going to take this and go and put it on the stove. So I have transferred that mixture now that it's melted into a bowl. I may have left it too long to stir it, and I have some very caramelized bits in there, as you can see, but I'm going to roll with it. Next up, I'm going to chop some apricots. I need 1 cup of chopped apricots, so I'm just going to start to very roughly chop these up. Obviously they are sticky, so they're not the funnest to chop. My method is pretty much just to bring them all back in together and then start that process again. I'm pretty happy with that now. I'm just looking through to see if there's any big chunks that I've missed, and then just chop them if I have. Alright, so I'm going to add that into our mixture and just give that a little mix. One more ingredient, and that's these. So I need to bash these up basically, so I'm going to put them into a bag and beat the shit out of them. I'm probably going to do this in 2 lots, so I'll take half of these, biff them into this little bag. And normally I kind of wrap it in a tea towel to kind of help me. So I'm going to go like that, and then flip it over. Obviously I don't want to burst the bag, so I'm kind of conscious of that while I'm doing this. I still like to have kind of like big chunks of biscuit through it because I feel like it gives it more texture. So again, I'm just kind of looking to see if there are any really big bits of biscuit left. Not too bad. I'm just going to give it another little roll over. Oh. Nice. So I'm going to bring the mixture back and dump that first lot of biscuits in. And now we'll rinse and repeat. So looking at the consistency of this, I'm going to add some more apricots and maybe a few more biscuits. We have some Crispies that are open, so I might put some of those into it, and a few more apricots. Alright, so it's looking a little bit dry now, which is good. So now I can press that into a tin. Alright, so I'm going to... I want a little bit of overhang over the side. Alright. Yep, about that. Then I just go that to give the baking paper something to stick to. Like yay, and now I'm going to put in the mix. Now we're just going to pop that in the fridge.
Going for a walk. Go, go, go! Not your house.
You wouldn't believe it. We've taken the dogs for a walk again, and it's bloody started raining again. Where'd you go, Mickey?
Teddy bears.
Not ideal. Not an ideal situation. Roving till we can. There's too many smells, it's overwhelming. Oh my god! I tell you what, I'm so upset at this point that I never brought one of these giant teddy bears. That's going to be on my to-do list once this lockdown's gone. Why must you sleep on my jeans? You have this whole giant bed. I folded out my jeans and put them there nicely, and now they're going to be covered in cat fur. Why are you a dick? I'm back from our walk, and now I need to ice my Afghans, and I need to ice the apricot slice as well. I'm going to start by making the icing for the apricot slice. So that's going to involve 100 grams of butter. I'm just going to pop that in the microwave to soften. So I'm in the middle of making the icing for my apricot slice, and I have a funny feeling that my camera has not been recording. So where we are currently, I have added butter and icing sugar, and I've basically just started to mix them together so that they kind of get to this lumpy sort of stage. Now I'm going to add the zest and juice of this lemon. And now I just want the juice of the lemon, so I just cut like what's called like the cheek of the lemon so that you don't get any seeds, or if you do you can just flick them out like that. And then we just add that lemon juice in. So now that's added some more moisture to this mixture, so I can kind of give that a little bit more of a mix. And it's pretty good consistency now, but it is still a bit too thick for the sort of icing that we want. So we're going to add the tiniest bit of hot water. I'm going to start with just like a teaspoon's worth, because I don't want it to get too like runny either. I might add a smidge more, not even a full teaspoon, like a half. Alright, that looks ready to me, so now we can pull our slice out of the fridge. Grabbed the apricot slice out of the fridge, it is now set, which is great. And we're going to go ahead and just start to biff some of this icing on top. Like so. And I'm going to finish this off by taking some shredded coconut just in my hands and like sprinkling that on the top. And now this will go back in the fridge. My final little baking task for today is to make the icing for the Afghans. And again, I'm going to do that in a pretty similar way that I did the icing for the apricot slice. Ooh. What fun. Just did my steps. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that because obviously we don't want it to fall off the biscuit when I put it on there. So now I can ice our biscuits. So here are our Afghans. And I'm just going to start putting this icing onto them. I just basically put a dollop on and then push it down around the biscuit. What a good use of icing, or guesstimating how much icing I was going to use. So the traditional topping for an Afghan biscuits is walnuts, so I'm going to do that on half of them. So you just pop the walnut in the middle. How cute do they look? Just absolutely adorable. But my mother doesn't like nuts very much. Well, not sweet nuts, should I say. So, well, sweet things with nuts. You get what I mean. So, she wants coconut on hers, even though coconut is a nut. But that's okay. So I'm going to do half of them with coconut. Oh. And then that is what hers end up looking like. Well, the other ones, should I say. And those are my Afghans. You are outrageously lazy. It's 12:30 p.m. and I'm just sitting in bed editing my video from today. And I just want to show you Snooky. Like, she is the sweetest cat in the world. She's lazy, but she's cute. Saying that, she did bring a cockroach into my room before, so not that cute.